Celine was in the middle of her Taking Chances World Tour in 2008, when she initially felt something wrong with her voice. A visit to an ear, nose, and throat doctor revealed nothing, so Dion continued performing. This moment is crucial to understand. Celine's symptoms began more than a decade before her diagnosis. For over 10 years, she experienced strange problems with her voice, unexplained muscle stiffness, and mysterious spasms. Doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong. Tests came back normal. But Celine knew something wasn't right. Like many people with rare diseases, she spent years searching for answers. She saw specialist after specialist. She underwent countless tests. And throughout it all, she kept performing, kept touring, kept giving everything to her fans, even as her body was betraying her. The symptoms came and went. Sometimes she felt fine. Other times, the muscle stiffness and spasms were debilitating. But because doctors couldn't diagnose the problem, Celine pushed through. What else could she do? Her entire life was her voice, her performances, her connection with audiences. She wasn't going to let mysterious symptoms stop her. Looking back, we now know that these were the early signs of stiff person syndrome slowly taking hold of her body. But at the time, no one, not Celine, not her doctors, not her family, understood what was happening. In August 2022, after more than a decade of searching for answers, Celine finally received her diagnosis: stiff person syndrome, often abbreviated as SPS. To understand what Celine is facing, we need to understand this devastating and extremely rare disease. According to the Mayo Clinic, stiff person syndrome is a rare disorder of motor function characterized by involuntary stiffness of axial muscles and superimposed painful muscle spasms, which are often induced by startle or emotional stimuli. Let's break that down in simpler terms. SPS is an autoimmune neurological disorder, meaning the body's immune system mistakenly attacks its own nervous system. In SPS, the immune system attacks proteins that help control muscle movement, particularly in the trunk and limbs. The result is progressive muscle stiffness and rigidity that makes movement incredibly difficult. But it's the spasms that are truly terrifying. These spasms can be severe, unpredictable, and debilitating, occurring spontaneously or triggered by external stimuli, such as loud noises, sudden movements, physical touch, or emotional stress. Celine herself has described feeling like somebody is strangling you, and has even suffered broken ribs due to intense spasms. Imagine living in a body that can suddenly seize up without warning. A loud noise, someone touching you unexpectedly, or even just feeling stressed can trigger a spasm so severe it breaks your ribs. That's the reality of stiff person syndrome. For Celine, whose career depends on using her voice and body in precise, controlled ways, the impact was catastrophic. The muscles in her throat, her vocal cords, her diaphragm, all the parts of her body she needed to sing, could suddenly lock up or spasm uncontrollably. SPS affects twice as many females as males, and is often misdiagnosed as Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, psychosomatic illness, or anxiety and phobia. The rarity of the condition means many doctors have never seen a case, which is why it took so long for Celine to receive an accurate diagnosis. There is no cure for stiff person syndrome. The disease is progressive, meaning it typically gets worse over time. Treatment focuses on managing symptoms through medication, physical therapy, and other supportive measures, but there's no way to stop the disease's progression entirely. Once Celine received her diagnosis in August 2022, she faced an impossible choice. Her Courage World Tour had been hugely successful, with sold-out shows across North America and Europe. Fans had waited years to see her perform, especially after COVID-19 had already caused multiple postponements. But continuing to perform was becoming dangerous. The muscle spasms were unpredictable and could happen at any moment. Celine had to educate her 13-year-old twin sons Nelson and Eddie about what to do if they witnessed a sudden attack. "Don't be scared if I can't talk. Mom cannot use her vocal cords. If I cannot respond to you, it's possible that I hear you, but I cannot communicate. They know what to do. Call 911. In December 2022, Celine made the painful decision to go public with her diagnosis. In an emotional Instagram video, she explained that she had been experiencing severe and persistent muscle spasms for some time, and she announced the rescheduling of her spring 2023 shows to 2024 and the cancellation of 8 summer 2023 shows. "I didn't want to live in this bunker anymore," she explained to Hodakapa, "because the burden was so heavy. And I was like, okay, I need to just do what I need to do the best. But I need to also tell the world what's happening." Then, in May 2023, came the news that broke fans' hearts worldwide. Celine officially canceled the rest of her world tour. "I'm so sorry to disappoint all of you once again," she said. "I'm working really hard to build back my strength, but touring can be very difficult even when you're 100%. It's not fair to you to keep postponing the shows, and even though it breaks my heart, it's best that we cancel everything now until I'm really ready to be back on stage again. For an artist who lived to perform, who drew energy from her connection with audiences, this decision was agonizing. But Celine was being honest with herself and her fans. She simply couldn't perform at the level they deserved, and she wouldn't shortchange them by giving anything less than her best. What does life with stiff person syndrome actually look like? Celine has been remarkably open about her daily struggles, giving the world an intimate look at what it means to live with this devastating condition. In an interview with Vogue France in April 2024, Celine revealed, "I haven't beat the disease, and it's still within me, and always will be. I hope that we'll find a miracle, a way to cure it with scientific research, but for now, I have to learn to live with it." Her treatment regimen is exhausting. 5 days a week I undergo athletic, physical, and vocal therapy, she explained. I work on my toes, my knees, my calves, my fingers, my singing, my voice. I have to learn to live with it now and stop questioning myself. Her physician, Dr. Amanda Piquet, has described this treatment plan as a full-time job. Imagine, 5 days every week, hour after hour of intense physical therapy, trying to maintain whatever function and mobility you can. It's exhausting, painful, and progress comes in tiny increments that can feel frustratingly slow. Celine described her approach simply. "The way I see it, I have two choices. Either I train like an athlete and work super hard, or I switch off and it's over. I stay at home, listen to my songs, stand in front of my mirror and sing to myself." That's not really a choice for someone like Celine Dion. Giving up has never been in her vocabulary. So every day she shows up for therapy. Every day she works on maintaining her mobility, her strength, and most importantly, her voice. Some days are better than others. Some days the spasms are manageable. Other days they're debilitating. The emotional toll is immense. In her documentary, Celine broke down describing the pain. "It just hurts in the morning. When I wake up, I immediately start crying because it hurts, like everything." For fans who knew Celine as the powerful, confident performer who commanded stages around the world, seeing her vulnerability was shocking, but it was also inspiring. Here was someone who could easily retreat from public life, live quietly with her wealth and fame, never be seen again. Instead, she chose to share her struggle, to let the world see her at her most vulnerable. Perhaps the most powerful and difficult to watch moment came in Celine's documentary I Am Celine Dion, which premiered on Prime Video in June 2024. The film offered viewers an intimate look at Dion's efforts to get back to performing and her daily life with stiff person syndrome. During filming, Celine experienced a severe spasm attack. The cameras kept rolling, capturing a terrifying moment that showed the world exactly what she faces. Her body seized up, muscles locked rigid, and for long, frightening minutes, she couldn't move or speak. Her medical team rushed to help her, but there was little they could do except wait for the spasm to pass and make sure she didn't hurt herself. Dr. Piquet later explained this unimaginable medical crisis to help audiences understand what happened. For Celine, allowing this moment to be filmed and shown to the world was an act of tremendous courage. She wanted people to truly understand what stiff person syndrome looks like, not in medical textbooks but in real life. The decision to include this footage in the documentary wasn't made lightly. Celine knew how vulnerable it made her, how it showed her at her absolute weakest. But she also knew it was important. Other people suffering from SPS needed to see they weren't alone. The medical community needed to see the reality of this disease, and the world needed to understand why she couldn't just push through and keep performing. Despite the challenges, Celine has had moments of triumph that have given hope to her fans and to the entire SPS community. In February 2024, she made a surprise appearance that stunned the entertainment world. At the 2024 Grammy Awards, Celine walked on stage to present the Album of the Year award to Taylor Swift. The audience gave her a standing ovation. "When I say I'm happy to be here, I really mean it from my heart," she said, adding that people should never take for granted what music can do for others. For someone who had been largely absent from public view for over a year, this appearance was monumental. Yes, she was thin and moved carefully, but she was there. She was standing. She was speaking, and most importantly, she was smiling. But the moment that truly shocked the world came in July 2024. During the opening ceremony of the 2024 Paris Olympics, Celine performed L'Hymne à l'amour by Edith Piaf from the Eiffel Tower. As her voice rang out over Paris, millions of viewers around the world watched in awe. This was the Celine Dion they remembered. Powerful, emotional, hitting every note with precision and passion. Social media exploded with reactions. People wept watching her performance. It felt like a miracle. But Celine was quick to manage expectations. When asked about plans to return to full-time performing, she told Vogue France, "I can't answer that, because for 4 years I've been saying to myself that I'm not going back, that I'm ready, that I'm not ready. As things stand, I can't stand here and say to you, yes, in 4 months. I don't know, my body will tell me." The Olympics performance was carefully planned and prepared for. She had months to work on that one song, to build up her strength specifically for that moment. It was not proof that she could return to touring and performing night after night, but it was proof that she hadn't given up, that her voice was still there, still powerful, still capable of moving millions. Celine's openness about her diagnosis has had a profound impact on awareness of stiff person syndrome. The media coverage surrounding her announcement sparked what has been nicknamed the Celine effect, and in March, Scott Newsom, director of the Johns Hopkins Stiff Person Syndrome Center in Baltimore, expressed hope that Dion's revelation could ultimately lead to more funding for research. Before Celine went public, most people had never heard of stiff person syndrome. Even many doctors were unfamiliar with it due to its rarity. But Celine's announcement changed that overnight. Suddenly, SPS was being discussed on news programs, in medical journals, and in conversations around dinner tables worldwide. Leah Jabre Fayyad, founder of the SPS patient advocacy campaign Bent Not Broken Autoimmune, felt profound sadness when she heard Celine's announcement. "We, Dr. Savage, know the suffering, the severe rigidity, the falls, the fractures, the spasms," she explained. For the small community of people living with SPS, Celine's diagnosis was bittersweet. They hated that this beloved performer was suffering from the same disease that had devastated their lives. But they also felt seen and validated for perhaps the first time. Here was one of the world's most famous women saying, "I have this disease too, and it's real and it's devastating." Celine acknowledged this responsibility. People who suffer from SPS may not be lucky enough or have the means to have good doctors and good treatments. I have those means, and this is a gift. What's more, I have this strength within me. I know that nothing is going to stop me. Donations to SPS research organizations increased. More patients sought diagnosis and treatment. More doctors educated themselves about the condition. And more researchers began focusing on this previously neglected disease. Throughout her health battle, Celine has drawn strength from her 3 sons, René Charles, now 24, and 14-year-old twins Nelson and Eddie. Her late husband, René Angelil, passed away from cancer in 2016. So Celine has faced this health crisis without her life partner. She's been honest with her boys about her condition, teaching them what to do if she has a spasm attack and can't communicate. Her sons know what to do. Call 911. For teenage boys to watch their mother suffer with such a devastating disease is heartbreaking, but by all accounts they've been incredible sources of support and strength for her. They've adapted to this new reality, learning to help when needed while also giving their mother the space to maintain her independence and dignity. Celine has spoken about not wanting to burden her children, but also recognizing that hiding her struggle would be worse. By being open with them, she's teaching them about resilience, courage, and facing challenges head-on. Lessons that will serve them for the rest of their lives. Where does Celine Dion go from here? The honest answer is, no. One knows. Not even Celine herself. "My voice will be rebuilt," Dion told BBC in June 2024. "I mean, it started a while ago already. My voice is being rebuilt as we speak right now." She believes in her ability to return to performing, but she's also realistic about the challenges. "My dream is to live in the present," she told Vogue France. "I am truly very lucky. And I am honored to be doing a photo shoot for Vogue France because although I had better health and beauty at 30, I didn't get asked to do one then. I am very proud that at 55, I am being asked to reveal my beauty." This perspective shift is crucial. Rather than mourning what she's lost or obsessing over an uncertain future, Celine is focused on living in the present moment. She's working hard every day in therapy. She's spending time with her sons. She's allowing herself to dream about performing again while accepting that it may not happen. The reality is that stiff person syndrome has no cure. "I didn't fight the disease, it is still in me and forever," Celine acknowledged. "We will find, I hope, a miracle, a way to cure it with scientific research. But I must learn to live with it." But learning to live with it doesn't mean giving up. It means adapting. It means finding new ways to do what she loves. It means accepting limitations while still pushing boundaries. And for Celine Dion, it means never losing hope that she'll sing for audiences again. Celine Dion's legacy was already secure before her diagnosis. With over 200 million records sold worldwide, she is one of the best-selling musical artists of all time. She's won multiple Grammy Awards, an Academy Award for Best Original Song, and accolades from around the world. Her place in music history was guaranteed. But her battle with stiff person syndrome has added a new dimension to that legacy. She's shown the world what true courage looks like. She's used her platform to bring attention to a devastating rare disease. She's inspired not just her fans but the entire SPS community by refusing to hide, refusing to give up, and refusing to let this disease define her. Beauty is you, it's me, it's what's on the inside, it's our dreams. It's today, Celine said, redefining what it means to be beautiful and successful in the face of adversity. Her message to others suffering from chronic illness is powerful. You are not alone. Your struggle is real and valid. It's okay to be scared and angry. But keep fighting. Keep hoping. Keep living as fully as you can, one day at a time. Celine Dion's voice may have been temporarily silenced by stiff person syndrome, but her spirit remains unbroken. Every day she wakes up in pain. Every day she faces the uncertainty of living with a progressive, incurable disease. Every day she must confront the possibility that she may never perform again at the level she once did. And every day she chooses to fight. She shows up for therapy 5 days a week. She works on rebuilding her voice. She educates the public about SPS. She spends time with her sons. She dreams about the day she might return to the stage and sing for the millions of fans who love her. Whether or not Celine Dion ever performs another full concert tour, she has already won her most important battle, the battle to live with dignity, courage, and hope in the face of devastating illness. She has shown the world that strength isn't about never falling down, it's about getting back up, again and again, no matter how hard it gets. Her heart will go on. Her voice may be rebuilding, but her spirit, that fierce, determined, unstoppable spirit that took a girl from a small town in Quebec and made her one of the greatest performers in history, that spirit cannot be silenced by any disease. Celine Dion's story isn't over. The final chapter hasn't been written. But whatever comes next, we know this. She will face it with the same courage, grace, and determination that have defined her entire journey. And millions around the world will be cheering for her, hoping for her recovery, and grateful for the gift of her voice, whether she's singing from a stage or simply sharing her story of survival. For decades, Celine Dion's voice has been one of the most powerful and recognizable sounds in music. When she sang "My Heart Will Go On" from the film Titanic, the song sold over 18 million copies worldwide, becoming one of the best-selling singles of all time. Her voice could fill stadiums, move audiences to tears, and hit notes that seemed impossible for a human being to reach. But in December 2022, that legendary voice was forced into silence. Celine Dion, at 54 years old, revealed to the world that she had been diagnosed with a devastating neurological disorder called stiff person syndrome, a condition so rare that it affects only about 1 in a million people. The disease was attacking the very muscles she needed to sing, to walk, even to breathe. Unfortunately, the spasms affect every aspect of my daily life, Celine explained in an emotional video announcement, sometimes causing difficulties when I walk and not allowing me to use my vocal cords to sing the way I'm used to. For someone whose entire identity was built around her voice, this diagnosis was devastating. But Celine Dion has never been one to give up without a fight. What followed was a journey of courage, determination, and an unwavering refusal to let this rare disease define her. This is the story of how one of the world's greatest voices is fighting to sing again. To understand what Celine Dion is fighting for, we must first appreciate what she built. Born on March 30, 1968, in Charlemagne, Quebec, Celine emerged as a teen star with 8 French-language albums during the 1980s before gaining international recognition by winning the Eurovision Song Contest in 1988. Her breakthrough into the English-speaking market came with collaborations on movie soundtracks. She recorded Beauty and the Beast with Peabo Bryson for Disney's animated classic, then Because You Loved Me from the film Up Close and Personal. But it was 1997 that changed everything. James Horner composed My Heart Will Go On for Titanic, and though director James Cameron initially didn't want a vocal song in the film, Celine's demo, completed in a single take, ultimately convinced him. The result was cultural phenomenon. The song dominated radio worldwide and won Academy Awards and Grammy Awards for Record of the Year. Celine's success continued throughout the late 1990s and 2000s. She built her reputation as a successful live performer, with tours that rank among the highest-grossing concert tours of the 1990s and 2000s, and became known as the Queen of Las Vegas for her enormously successful residency shows that ran for years. By the time she launched her Courage World Tour in 2019, Celine had sold over 200 million records worldwide and was considered one of the greatest vocalists of all time. Everything seemed perfect. She was performing at the highest level, her voice as powerful as ever, and fans around the world filled arenas to hear her sing. But behind the scenes, something was terribly wrong.